And now, the Kidney Contenders interview with Brian Lee, a member of the Charlotte Pride Board of Directors.
Honest with you, I was really surprised to learn that Charleston Pride has existed for well over a decade. And the first thing I'm excited to learn about, what has changed in over a decade? What is Charleston Pride now focused on?
The biggest change that we've had is we've gone from being an organization that was just doing a festival and a parade to kind of give that offering to our community, to becoming a group that now does a lot of outreach. I would say over the last 18 months, we have started really being a more pivotal part of our community, from not only a bigger festival, bigger parade, but also from Habitat for Humanity. We do a Pride Build every year with them now. Just started last year, but it's going to be an annual thing. We've already met with Kristen this year to get it ready for June. Sometimes it's just, once every quarter or whatever it is, but trying to be a part of those community events as well. We partner with Park Circle Pride, which is a for-profit pride organization in Charleston, but we partner with them to help them get their events up and going. We do car washes. We work really closely with the Animal Society of Charleston. So just we went from being a party and festival and parade group to being a party, festival, and parade / volunteer and community engagement group. And I think that's a really important distinction between what we were doing and what we are doing now.
Well, let me pause you right there, because I think that is definitely something I would like for you to highlight even more on. One thing I will say is that my organization, Kidney Contenders, we have a prevention first thinking way of teaching people to recognize early signals with their health, but health and wellness also not just what you're eating, but how are you dealing with stress. And one thing I will say that I've learned from our audience is that there are a lot of LGBTQ, I think, plus community individuals who feel that they are under an enormous amount of stress, and this is often miscommunicated. Can you speak a little bit about that miscommunication that sometimes is incorporated with?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people don't realize same stresses that come to heterosexual people comes to the LGBTQ group, but then you get the added layer of also being LGBTQ. So for example, I play on a softball team, and it's a men's and women's team. We talk a lot about men's mental health, because the heterosexual men on the team are like, yeah, I can't find community. I don't know where to look. My best friend is my wife, and she has her own friends. How do I traverse this world when it feels like every time my wife goes out of town with her friends, I'm lonely and I get depressed and I get sad? And we talk a lot about that because they see groups like mine that are very community oriented. So my friend group, we do a lot together. We travel together. We go on ski trips together. We're kind of always on the move. And they think that because they see us out doing things, that we're not struggling with that same loneliness and that same hardship. And it's really nice to be able to talk to them about the fact that we all face it. It's just a matter of how we handle it and how we go about creating those community spaces so that we don't feel alone when our really good friends or our close friends are gone. And I think that Charleston Pride, in part of what we're doing as we're revamping and becoming more of that community and in touch community basis, is that we reach out. We have multiple different like Facebook groups. And when people come in, when they move to Charleston or they're coming to Charleston to visit, they say, hey, I'm moving to this area. Who can help me get involved? Who can help me get connected? And we have groups of our organization that go in and say, hey, I want to get you connected. Let's grab coffee.
let's find out like what are your likes, what are your dislikes, and then we, because we know the community so well, can then engage them with groups that are like theirs. So if someone comes in and says, hey, I love D&D, I'm like, yeah, I know 5 working D&D groups in the town. Where do you live? Let me get you connected to them. Or somebody comes in, they're like, hey, I do cheerleading. No problem. We have a lot of people who were in cheer, and so let me get you connected with those people just to make those connections between people who have like-minded activities that they do, and then being able to kind of source it out that way. And that goes along with as well spiritual. There's a lot of people in our community that come in and they've been disenfranchised by any particular religious organization. We have a lot of spiritual religious leaders, whether they are rabbi or priests or pastors, or monks even, that we have that are a part of our group. And we know that we can engage them so that they can get that spiritual growth. So we're always trying to hit every single level so that no one feels alone, no one feels overburdened, and people have that outlet for stress, for and really, like I say stress, but even for the good stuff, being able to go and have somebody that you can go and say, hey, I had a really great day today. And I just wanted to tell somebody, because like getting that out is also a way of de-stressing and kind of pulling that negativity away. So we're trying to make an umbrella where everybody can be under it, no matter who you are, even if you're not a part of the LGBTQ necessarily. Maybe you're a straight ally. We want that umbrella to cover everyone. And then we can use that to grow and to help change the community as a whole, since we're in a bit of a more deep red conservative area.
I think that is very important for the Charleston community. What I will say is that there are communities, of course, that are outside of Charleston, that are still in South Carolina, or even outside of the state of South Carolina, outside of the United States. And Charleston Pride, something that I think a lot of people from various backgrounds would be interested in learning how they can contribute, either virtually or maybe traveling in person. Can you kind of walk us through how someone, say, from London, if they are listening to this video that we're conducting right now and they want to actually participate, what or where can they go, and how can they participate if they are in fact living in the city of London?
Absolutely. I would say the first 2 things that we have to offer, and again, because we were a growing organization, we're hoping that these things take root and really can grow. But the first thing is that our website has gone from being an informational resource to being a resource-oriented website. When people look on it, they can find both local and national brands that are LGBTQ focused, that are not being, pivoted just because of political views and things like that, but that are very driven to, hey, we're here to protect, we're here to honor, we're here to love. And so our website is becoming a resource, instead of just being, hey, when's the Pride Parade? That's all it was used for. But now it's like, hey, how can I get involved, and who can I get connected to? Because maybe in London, London's a little harder only because it's international. Because we're small, we're kind of branching to national first and then international. But if there's a Habitat for Humanity in another country, hey, there you go. Like there's a connection there that you can get through one to get to the other. Some of the companies that are in Charleston that are queer oriented, or at least queer loving, those companies are international. So those are places that you could buy from. The second piece of that, and the website is just the start, but we have an app that's going to be launching, hopefully, fingers crossed, in the next year. But it will be a resource for, again, companies, people just trying to be connected. It is so crazy that in a world where we should be so perfectly connected because we have social media, you can have a friend in London and be talking real time, but through those social media apps, that we could be connected that way, but yet feel so disconnected. And so our app is hopefully going to be one of those places where we can create and foster those community relations, whether you're in London, maybe coming to visit South Carolina or the Low Country, or just coming to America, to realize that, the things you might see in the media in London, where it looks like America may not be, queer friendly, gay friendly, a caring place. You all of a sudden realize, like, wow, there are pockets of people here who are loving, and maybe the media might not be telling me the whole story. And I think that's really important with our world, is that we realize on both sides, the media, it makes money buying things to their side. And that's not to say that that's necessarily a terrible thing, but sometimes it does disingenuize people to think that something else is happening when it's not. For example, a good example of that, my mom calls all the time because she sees on the news in North Carolina that Charleston's flooded. And she calls and she says, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, Mom, I'm okay. The news I know showed you the waves busting over the walls, but like that happens all the time. It's not a big deal." So I would say that would be a two of our big resources that are coming down the pipe. And hopefully, if those grow and can really take root, I would love to see those become a national or international brand, that either Charleston Pride continues to do, or maybe other prides jump on board and create their own.
Now, Brian, just educate myself and our viewers a little bit more. So is Charleston Pride the only kind of pride in South Carolina, or are there other pride organizations throughout the state?
That's a great question. And no, we are not the only pride. Now, we have had some sad news that some of our other prides in South Carolina have had to take steps away and have had to kind of shut down for the time being, where funding isn't there. They're not able to get in the money and the sponsorships to be able to sustain a pride parade or festival. It costs us in Charleston about $5,000 just to do our festival, and about another $30,000 to do our parade. So it's an expensive venture. So if you don't have people that will sponsor that, it can get pretty rough. But in South Carolina, there are prides for almost every large city. And we also have South Carolina Pride that is, if people go to Columbia for the quote unquote Columbia Pride, that's actually South Carolina Pride. It's a state organization that hopes to also, I believe, one day be more of an umbrella to all the other cities in the state.